So microeconomic theory is really kind of a general theory of human behavior, right? And it lends itself quite naturally to, to mathematics and to modeling. And it really is possible to completely strip it of any human element and teach it that way. And that's oftentimes the way, it can be taught like that across the country. So it's like, I like to say that it's almost as if you've boiled all the flavor out of the chicken and then served it to someone, which is, it's still a chicken and it's nourishing. For me personally, to understand what I'm studying, I always have to funnel it, my life or examples or things that I care about, through the theoretical models, both, to understand the theory and then also decide whether I believe the theory. If I can't understand it in the abstract, then why should anybody else? But I think for people that are first approaching something that is technical and hard, that the more real you can make it and the more relevant you can make it, then it makes apparent why it's worth undertaking this sort of activity.
Make the argument that if you grew up in a poor neighborhood, you are at a disadvantage.
But if you want to bring it to life and you want students to learn it and care about it, you have to relate it to things that they care about.
I think he really puts in the effort to try to make it seem applicable on the ground, because some of this stuff seems very like ivory tower and academic, and he'll put it in terms of outcomes on the ground that we are all going to school to try to change and make better. And I think that really helps connect for students across a wide array of backgrounds.
It's just really special to have a professor who's so smart and clearly does such amazing research, who is also so dedicated to every second that he spends in class and to every question that a student asks. Clearly he loves teaching, and it really makes you feel valued as a student.
What we should be trying to do as a society is to move people from areas where there's concentrated poverty to areas where there's less poverty.
I do have a sort of profound interest in trying to understand what causes inequality. A lot of times inequality, we can frame it as somehow being some function of the characteristics of the individual and perhaps the choices that they've made in their lives, but we can also think about it as a function of the way society is organized and the choices that society makes. If you're trying to think about policy domains that have an impact on the poorest among us, I just can't imagine a more important area than the criminal justice system, where pretty much almost everybody who's interacting with the system in an intensive way is from, very low socioeconomic status often.
So I'm at the Goldman School. I think a lot of it has to do with Steve, him doing research on criminal justice and me being formerly incarcerated. I saw myself in a lot of the curriculum, and for me it was very helpful to understand and contextualize my own experience and see the importance of what we're learning in the class. And having people like Steve here to be researching on these issues, it gives me a lot of hope,
Okay.
Why do I teach? Well, I love my students. I love UC Berkeley. I love the, contributing to, or hopefully contributing to the world in this way. So I just think I found my calling.